welcome back to Novel Nomad and welcome to another Top 5 Wednesday. Today we're going to be going into the top 5 books that I wish I gave my younger self or my younger self had read earlier. Now these are a bit of a mix of non-fiction, fiction and classics, so stay tuned, it's going to be really fun. Starting off with a very classic read that most people do read in school, but I didn't read until after I left university, and that is Harper Lee's To Kill a Mockingbird. I was quite disappointed when I read this book because I loved it so much, and I knew that younger Kate, especially probably in high school or earlier, would have thoroughly enjoyed this book. But the reason why I'm disappointed is because it would have opened my eyes to a lot of class and racial struggle that happened in America during this time and really are still in the system today. So I think it would have been a very interesting book to read at the time, and it would have been really interesting to see how my younger self would have reacted to this. I think this book was written to be a challenge, and that's why I would have loved to read it when I was younger, because it definitely would have challenged my mindset. Next is going to be a surprising classic, and that is Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. I didn't read Jane Eyre until I was in university. Now I did read the Austens when I was younger. I was in probably middle school at the time for Austen, and I really wished I read Jane Eyre when I was at that time, because it is just such an amazing story that follows a young girl going into young woman as she grows up. And I think if you read this as part of your own maturing, it just feels like such a companion to you. I think I also read it for class, so I had that extra element of picking up different themes and motifs and things like that that are used throughout the book. So I didn't read it the first time for just pure enjoyment. So I think this would have been wonderful to read when I was probably about 14, 15. It would have just been such an amazing companion classic that would have deepened my love for classics from the Austens. Next is the only non-fiction on this list, and that is Girl Up by Laura Bates. Now I loved reading this one as an adult anyway, so I don't think it's limited to age, but I do think it is highly instructional and highly humorous and incredibly helpful for young women, especially when they're trying to work out where they fit in the world. And you know, when you go through those really awkward sex ed classes with everyone else in the room, this is a really positive way for girls to understand their body, understand where they can fit in life, and understand where they feel comfortable in different things as they grow up. It is a really amazing book, and I highly recommend. It has some amazing graphics that keep you really entertained, and it is really inspirational. I really wish I read this when I was about 15 or younger. I'd probably say even 12, because it just really inspires me. I really wish I could give this to every young girl as she's going through that really awkward stage of puberty, so she can really understand her body, understand the woman that she's growing into, and understand where she can confidently go into her future. Next is one that I read because I watched the amazing Studio Ghibli movie, and that is Howl's Moving Castle by Diana Wynne Jones. Now I wish I had been introduced to Diana Wynne Jones a lot sooner. I'm not sure why. I never really got her on my radar at the time, but she's got another Magicians series as well, but I just think the whimsical magic in this book would have been so much more appreciated by my younger self. But I think I enjoy this because it brings back so much nostalgia. But I think you can still enjoy this as an adult, and I definitely did, because it is written beautifully. The story is incredibly well developed, and it just brings back that beautiful whimsy of childhood and that idea of innocence. And lastly, one that I could have given my younger self, because I knew my younger self would have been an absolute avid, rabid fan of this book, and hopefully by now the series would have come out, but unfortunately that wouldn't have been the case because it was only released last year, and that is Nevermore by Jessica Townsend. This is it kept being touted as Harry Potter-esque. It definitely has elements, but what it really has in regards to Harry Potter is it's a book that can be read by children and adults. It is beautifully written, the language is amazing, the plot is very well thought out, the characters are not only intriguing but unique, and it is set in a magical world where you can just escape into and have so much fun. So thank you so much for joining me. Tell me down below a book that you would give your younger self to read and why. So I'll see you next time. Happy reading. Bye.